over NBA officiating. Does he have a point? How the new rules are impacting the Blazers star. And the verdict is in on the Jokic and Morris skirmish. Does Big Perk agree with the NBA's ruling? Plus, Kobe's influence on the NBA still looms large. How current players are honoring the Lakers legend. NBA Today starts right now. Welcome to NBA Today. I'm Malika Andrews here with Brian Windhorst, Janae Gumake, and the birthday boy. Although I feel like you're a birthday man at this
grown man.
What'd you wish for? Hang out with us.
Peace, yeah.
Peace. Or peace.
That's what I wish for. Look. After you have 4 kids and all of them birthdays a month or 2 before yours, once you get to yours, you're like, all right, let me just chill.
All right.
Malika, carry on.
Happy
birthday, Bird!
Yeah, happy birthday, Big Perk. Do you want to go coast to coast on your birthday?
Let's run it.
Let's do it. Let's get it, as Big Perk would say. So we can start in our backyard with Paul George leading the Clippers to a win over the Blazers with his 5th straight game with 20 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. That ties Blake Griffin for the longest such streak in Clippers history. Janae, what do you think of his play this year?
I mean, this is exactly who he is. He knows how to be a number one, but they're better with, having Kawhi Leonard. But overall, I mean, this is what he does, especially in the regular season. I think he'll carry this over in the postseason.
All right, speaking of over, let's go over to Philly. Tyrese Maxey scored a season-high 31 points, but it wasn't quite enough because Giannis erupted for 31, 16, and 4 assists. The Bucks outscored the 76ers 27-16 in the fourth quarter after trailing entering the period. Perk, what'd you think of Giannis last night?
He took over the game, dominating, getting to the paint, and that Euro step is wicked, and he would not be denied. I said it before the season, I'm saying it now. Best player in the NBA.
No rest for the Wicked, no rest for the Jazz. They remain the only undefeated home team by defeating the struggling Hawks, who have their first 5-game losing streak since December of 2019. Trey and Herter combined for 55 of Atlanta's 98 points. Janae, more about the Jazz, more about the Hawks?
Absolutely more about the Jazz. They're making music. They're taking notes. I love what they're able to do, picking up exactly where they left off.
I see what you did there, making notes. And Nikola Jokic was suspended 1 game without pay for forcefully pushing Markieff Morris in the back on Monday. He will miss tonight's game against Indiana. Morris, meanwhile, was fined $50,000 for his flagrant 2. Jimmy Butler was fined $30,000 for attempting to escalate that altercation. Morris is also going to miss tonight's game against the Lakers with whiplash that he sustained during that incident. So 1 game for Jokic, 1 game without Markieff, unrelated to that just because he's hurt. Jimmy Butler and Markieff both got fined. I want to get your reactions to these rulings since he's the birthday boy. Let's start with you.
It was fair. I mean, look, I'm so happy. The NBA is getting back to what it used to be, physicality. Now, as a former guy that used to get in a lot of altercations, I kind of like a little beef. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Let's make hamburgers. So it was fair.
Oh, good.
I mean, it could have been a lot worse, but things happen. Look, it's getting physical. It's getting chippy. This is what we like to see.
You're making hamburgers. Some people I like to make Beyond Burgers. Right. But that's interesting because you said 1 game suspension, getting back to where we were. Brian, do you think that's getting back to the discipline the league used to instill?
This is where the league wants to be now. I think if this was a different commissioner, David Stern, and a different disciplinary czar, Rod Thorne, like 10 years ago, it would have been multiple games. But the league is happy with the physical play. They don't want guys hitting people in the back.
Thank you.
That's not ideal. But they like where the league is going right now. They like the fact that the scoring is coming down. They like that there's not as much flopping going on, that there's more contact happening. And so while I definitely think they had to make a statement here that you can't hit somebody in the back, they just wanted it to say, listen, you can go a certain stage, but you can't go too far. Because they've gone so far as to even have a press conference and say, hey, the fouls are down, the physicality is up, thumbs up.
Yeah, we all know that this was not the right move. Like, as a player, it's face-to-face. Like, if you're going to have a beef with me, I got to look you in the face.
You want to see you eat the hamburger.
Exactly.
Right.
But I think by the letter of the law and the letter of the book, this was the absolute right call. I mean, unnecessary, excessive contact, flagrant 2, ejected, and fined. And then Jokic took a step further, and that was completely out of control. And so getting that suspension makes sense as a next step escalation of the situation. But more importantly, I mean, the picture of the Heat in the hallway afterward, I thought that was quite interesting as well.
Incredible photojournalism from the Denver Post, and we talked about it, though. We talked about this elevated physicality, right? This is what the league was kind of hoping to have things shift back out when they were changing some of these rules, right, guys? So we mentioned at the top of the show, but the Blazers lost to the Clippers last night. And after the game, speaking of these rules, Damian Lillard became the latest star to voice his displeasure with these new rule changes. So take a look here. You can see there's Damian Lillard. Hello. After this, he's arguing with referee Tyler Ford after this no call on a drive during the third quarter. So check it out. Still chatting a little bit. Said I got hit on the arm. I really did. Look, I got hit on the arm. And then when he walked off the floor at the end of the game, Lillard was pointing at Ford, kept talking to him. Dame was asked about why he was so angry, what he was saying after the game.
I feel like the way the game is being officiated is unacceptable. I don't want to go too deep into it so they make a big deal out of it, but the explanations, that's getting missed, I mean, come on, man. I'm not even a player that I felt like coming in, the rule change wouldn't affect me because I don't do the trick to referees. I don't do the trick plays. And it just is unacceptable, man.
Okay, unacceptable. So strong words from Dame last night. Sinead, but does he have a point?
He does have a point, and I want to sort of take you into what happened last season because Dame last season was going to the line about 7 times a game. This year, it's 3. Now, a lot of people are seeing those shifts, the James Hardens, the Trae Youngs, a lot of the guards around the NBA. But the reality is people know Damian Lillard is not someone that's hunting for fouls. He plays physically, and he plays fair. And I think that's an adjustment, and what really hurts him to some degree. The teams that have been able to weather this storm, especially with the guard play, they've had a strong supporting cast to give those stars a little bit more room to see the rim. You're thinking about the Warriors, supporting cast that showed out at the start of the year. James Harden, who had to deal with it, has Kevin Durant every night. And so for Dame, he probably ends up having, CJ is super talented, but we know how much he has put his heart and soul year and year into this league. So I see why he's being a little bit more vocal, why the adjustment hits him a little different than the rest of the league.
Well, I just see his frustration building up. When you think about all the rumors, you think about how Dame has struggled and getting his shot off. And, here's the thing that I have to say. I'm a huge Damian Lillard fan. I think he's must-see TV. He's box office. But all the guys that are complaining about the way that the officials are officiating the game kind of bothers me because what he should be talking about is their defense. Like, you think about Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks, they're struggling, right? Their defense is not there. You think about the Portland Trail Blazers, their defense is not there. You look at around the league, it's affecting a lot of guys, but 2 guys that is really not affecting? Kevin Durant and Steph Curry. Why? Because they played in both eras, so they know how to adjust their games. Matter of fact, Steph Curry say, I embrace this.
You know what, though? Lillard's getting hit kind of on a double whammy here. Because in addition to the fact that he's not getting the calls, the new ball seems to be affecting him more than other players. Here's why. 3-point shooting is down about 5% this year. But 3-point shooting over 25 feet is down 10%. This is Logo Lillard. He shoots from over 25 feet. I don't quite understand. I'm not a shooter, Perk. I don't understand how the ball would affect him, but the ball is pushing down long-range shots. That's Dame.
Well, I will say this. The last time the league put in a new basketball, it was problems. And they had to go back to the old basketball. Even like a guy like Russell Westbrook, we know that he doesn't shoot the 3-point well, but when have the last time we've seen Russell Westbrook airball pull-up twos?
He's airballing passes.
No, I know.
It's affecting everything.
I know. I was trying to lay off of him a little bit. His birthday coming up. We kind of tied together, so I was trying to chill. But we really haven't seen Russell Westbrook elbow pull-up shots. He's doing that right now. So, like I said, though, 2 people that is not affecting, Kevin Durant, he's shooting 57% from the field.
But not everyone's the same, Perk. And I think we hear these rumblings, especially when you transition to playing overseas. Hoopers are like, the ball's different. It takes an adjustment. It takes some time for you. And I think it's sort of the same thing here. Anytime you have a new ball as a hooper, it really changes your entire mindset. Now, great shooters will still find a way. And that's why I believe Damian Lillard is going to still find a way to get buckets. But it's a different, timeline for different people.
Well, look, Sinead, I know you got buckets in the
He's proved it
WNBA.
right here on that-
Yeah, she
on
got
this court,
buckets,
like,
so you
right over
don't have
there.
to flex on me. I know I didn't get buckets. I was just
You did.
Nah,
They're just different.
I was in
They're
force.
different
I didn't
buckets.
have to take jump shots. You took jump shots.
Different
You
kind of
had to
buckets.
fade away
Well,
from the rim.
but it has. It's been a tough start to the season for Lillard, as he's not only down
Beautiful to watch.
scoring 10 points per game
The
for
game
the
is
past two
better, you're right.
seasons, from down
Game is
to
better.
that, but he's also drawing 4 fouls per game this season. That's after drawing over 6 per game the previous 2 years. Dame's shooting percentages, they're also down across the board. So we're seeing this, but like Chiney said, we've seen in the past this is sort of evened out for Damian Lillard over the course of the season. So, that's a little bit different. All right, we're coming up after this break. We're going to dive in on so much more this show. Look at this, the top 2 picks. They're facing off tonight.
Ooh, can't wait.